Maasai have been using urine as an insect repellent for centuries.
Maybe he is a leprechaun. He's dancing a jig.
The morning stream. My bumhole hurts.
Gosh dang it, I muted myself. Hey, we're back, everybody. You got to do that when you got to cough all the time, so then I didn't mute it then when I just coughed. Great.
Just cough switch, there you go, exactly.
It's good stuff. It's a toggle now, so I forget to toggle it off and on. And the other day, I toggled it off, and then when I had to cough, I untoggled it and coughed on the microphone and then toggled it again.
You coughed right in the microphone, yes.
Lame. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hey,
anyway,
we're back.
I got little Black Crows in there that time listening to that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, probably more vocalist than anything else.
Kind of a ska beat, too, a little bit.
Kind of, yeah.
Just a little. Nothing crazy, but enough to sort of notice. Anyway, who was it, the ninja in the chat room's like, I'm out. Oh, no, Jedi. He's not his thing at all, I guess.
Oh, Jedi 71, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, all right, well, whatever, I mean, heck, if I'm like the most diehard critic of New Country there is, so if I can appreciate it, if I can find something to like in there, then God, I feel like a lot of people should be able to.
I do feel like it was it's probably on the soundtrack for that show that my wife watches, that Heart of Dixie show. It's totally that.
Maybe, yes.
Yeah, she loves that freaking thing. Yeah. Come at me if you think that show's good. I think it's horrendous, and I've told her as much. She knows how I feel about it. I think Heart of Dixie is bad. But anyway.
Yeah. Did you watch any of that Lester Scruggs, or what was it called?
No, we saved it for tonight because of Nick's work schedule. We wanted to make sure everybody could be here together. So tonight, Kim, Carter, and Nick are all watching it. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Buster Scruggs, that's it.
Coen Brothers, Magic at Work. I'm hearing it's top shelf stuff from them. And
Tim Blake Nelson.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
He's
love
great.
That guy.
Liam Neeson's in there for some reason. Bunch of actors.
Sirens turned you into a toad.
I love when he in the trailer for this thing, somebody asks, "Do those side irons work?" And he like flips one behind him and kills a guy, and he goes, "Oh, sure, looks to do, yes," or something like that. He's just the perfect guy to cast for whatever the hell's going on there.
He really is.
I'm so excited. I hear it's just like an orgy of like Western tropes, and I love those sort of things. So I'm in. Like Flynn.
Orgies?
Yeah, I like orgies. All right. Let's get Steven in here later than usual.
Sure.
But never too late. Never $1 short. Oh,
never.
I have to run.
Never.
Hold on a second. Gosh dang it.
Gosh.
Skype.
Gurmit.
There it is. Skype says, cannot be used for emergency calls. All right. I won't ever use you for that then. You jerks. Okay, here we go. Wait. Why didn't that work? There we go. All right, now we're calling him. All right, here we go, everybody. Settle in. Steven Schleicher, Johannesburg, Philip Jr., Esquire, on the phone all the way from Hays, Kansas, and the proprietor of all things Major Spoilers. Steven, welcome back.
Hey, thank you, Scott. Hello, Brian.
Hello.
Oh, it's so good to have you here.
So I did watch The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Oh, what'd you think?
And it is an awesome movie, so much so that I wanted to watch it again the next day, but I had so many other shows to catch up on. Yeah. It's worth watching multiple times, but I will say this. It's an anthology series, so if you're thinking that there's going to be one character that follows through the whole story, there's not. Second thing is, this is a Coen Brothers movie, and not everything is funny as the trailer makes it out to be. In fact,
plenty.
Be prepared for some over-the-top violence.
Yeah, some very grim moments I hear. I mean, this is everything I love about the Coen Brothers all mixed up. Like just quirky characters, strange business. I love them doing an anthology type thing. Originally, this was going to be an actual series, like multiple episodes.
No, they have discounted that.
Oh, they said it never was?
Yeah, they said no. A lot of people just thought because of the anthology nature of it that it was going to be a TV show, but it never was supposed to be.
Guess what? I'm in the group of a lot of people thought because I thought that as well. Well, one way or the other, I'm hearing it's amazing, and I can't.
It is really, really good. Just be prepared that some of the stories are shorter than you want them to be, and some of them last maybe a little bit longer than they should, but they're all really, really good. And just when you think you have the story figured out, they may pull a twist on you. And the last story in the movie is just brilliant from top to bottom.
How many anthology? How many stories are there?
I want to say there's 5 of them, 5 or 6.
Okay.
And I keep forgetting there's a great one that about this old prospector who's mining for gold. I keep forgetting that one, and it's really good. So
all right,
yeah.
And Liam Neeson is in it. Is that true?
Yes, he is, and
okay.
That is one that is. Again, they're all so good. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but the Liam Neeson one has hardly any words spoken in that, except for one bit that is just a recurring bit throughout the entire piece.
Does he say, "I have a very special set of skills"? Is that when he talks?
No.
Oh, okay. That'd be cool if he did.
And I forgot about that one until you brought it up.
Yeah. Well, no worries.
It's really good. I think you'll enjoy the heck out of it.
We're having a special viewing tonight, and we're super stoked. So I'll report my findings tomorrow on TMS Tuesday. All right. It's a light week. It's the holidays. We're rolling into Thanksgiving and stuff, but there's some stuff coming up. For example, Hellboy Day is coming. How will you celebrate Hellboy Day from Dark Horse Comics?
I don't know. Probably by saying, "Hey, it's March 23rd or whatever day it is."
Sure. I mean,
that's how I'm going to celebrate. It's March 23rd. It's a Saturday.
Are they serious about this? Like,
So I mean, it is kind of a big deal. I mean, people are getting really excited. This past weekend, Mickey Mouse turned 90. We've had Superman and Batman both celebrate big days. Was it last week? 2 weeks ago, Hawkman celebrated his 80th birthday. Why not celebrate 25 years of Hellboy? And when you think about it, 25 years. Maybe a long time for some people.
No, I mean, it no longer seems like the giant amount of time it used to us, I think. But,
right.
But a kid was born and is now 25. That's a good way to look at it. Mm-hmm. Also, I didn't know Mickey Mouse turned 90. That's old. But it's also not as old as I would have thought. I would have thought Mickey Mouse has been around longer than 90.
Yeah.
Like a dude who was born the day Mickey Mouse made his debut, or however they clock that.
Steamboat Willie's release.
Yeah, he could still be alive, that guy. That old guy could be 90 right now, kicking around. My uncle was 95. My uncle lived 5 years before there was any such thing as Mickey Mouse. And so it starts to feel not as old when you think of it that way.
Right.
But still, 90 years is a long time. 80-year-old Hawkman sounds like a great thing to draw. I may have to do that. Just an 80-year-old Hawkman going, hey.
His feathers are all molting.
Hawk girl doesn't want to make out with me anymore. Actually, weren't they brothers or sisters or something? What was their deal?
They were lovers.
I
and
thought
depending
they were
on
brother and sister. No,
Okay.
Depending on which continuity you're looking at, they were either husband-wife or they've been reincarnated multiple times. And in if you watch Justice League Unlimited, she doesn't remember that there may be some reincarnation. So it turns into this creepy stalkery thing where Hawkman is kind of stalking her all the time when he says, "No, I'm a reincarnation and we're meant to be together." It's really a good story.
Really? All right. I already learned more about him than I thought I knew. Also, the new Sabrina series at Archie. Tell me about this. What's going on? Actual comics, right? We're not talking about the show.
Yeah, this is actual comic books. We'll talk about the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina in a moment. But if you are someone that watched the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina or read the comic book and you're like, "Ooh, man, that's a little bit too intense for me," Archie Comics is releasing a new Sabrina the Teenage Witch series in 2019, written by Kelly Thompson with art by Veronica Fish. This is a 1-2 combo of a win right here. But this is going to be set more along the same lines as the Archie series that Mark Waid is writing for Archie Comics, kind of a modern take on the series without being without being too goofy. It's still going to have some drama to be told and some lighter moments, but overall, this will be a kind of a fresh launch for Sabrina.
No, I like this art. I don't know if these are all just. I don't know what this is. Let's see. Hold on. Like there's a cover here that looks like Bewitched. Like, what's the deal with that? Like an alternate?
Those are just some of the variant covers that they have.
I love that. That's so great. What a great throwback image. That's so cool.
I believe the very last one on the page there is the one that is Veronica Fish.
Oh, okay. Oh, she's great.
And I think there's another one there by Adam Hughes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I knew a guy named Fish. His last name was Fish.
Is it Abe Vigoda on a
No, not that guy.
A man named Fish.
His name was Neil Fish. He's a cool dude. I miss Neil. And Neil, if you're listening, I hope you're doing all right. Speaking of the Sabrina there, you got the Chilling Adventures thing, and that's happening already. But now we're going to get a holiday special. Did anyone ask? Did anyone ask for this? And if they didn't, are they excited anyway?
I don't know if anyone asked for it, but I think Netflix thought it might be a good idea to deliver a holiday special. It's called A Midwinter's Tale that's going to arrive on Netflix on December 14th. It kind of misses any kind of the Wiccan pagan holidays that they could have launched it on, but I guess maybe that would fall too close to Christmas and they were worried about people not seeing it. But if you thought you wanted more out of your Chilling Adventures of Sabrina series, you get one more spot or one more shot at it coming up later next month.
Praise Satan, I mean praise Santa. Sabrina Netflix has
praise Baphomet.
Yeah, Baphomet. I'm looking at this image. Is it set in a? Is that a? That looks like it's set in a different time.
It might be.
Yeah, that's a period piece with like bow ties and dickies and.
I mean, it's a special, right?
I guess so.
So they can do all sorts of.
They can do whatever they want to do. That's right.
Yeah,
it's their time. Let them have it. Well, this is all great, dude. I mean, you know, there's stuff going on. Hey, I didn't get. We never really got your response to the death of Stan Lee. I'm obviously no one's happy about it, but you had any thoughts you wanted to throw out there?
Stan is a complicated person.
Yeah.
On the one hand, we can look at all the wonderful things he did to try to push progressive thinking in America through his comic books, but at the same time, not necessarily a great guy.
Where do you base that on? What do you base that on there?
The way he treated Veronica.
You silly person, he said
yes.
once.
Well, that and you look at the big fight that was ongoing for decades and still kind of goes on every time there's an issue on who created a character, where Stan Lee tries to take sole credit for a lot of the characters. Then it resulted in lawsuits to where now we can say that Steve Ditko is a co-creator of Spider-Man or that Jack Kirby is a co-creator of, you know, the Hulk and the Fantastic Four and so many other things. And for a long time, some of those creators were just totally blocked out from the narrative because of Stan. So
do you think that's I mean, do you think we're getting to a place now where, like, I feel like after in the wake of his death, just the recent days after his death, it felt like a lot of people were saying things like, boy, if it wasn't for him and the work of Steve Ditko and the work of Jack Kirby, like, I feel like there's some reconciliation going on. Everybody
and there has been for like the last 10 years, especially when the movies started coming out and people were like, well, this storyline is based on this writer. How come this writer is not getting any credit, or this look is inspired from this artist? How come the credits are not giving any thanks to these people who have contributed to the movies? And slowly over these last 10 years, we're starting to see more and more creators being named in the movies. And we're also seeing things like Fantastic Four, not just created by Stan Lee, but Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. And so we're starting to get a lot more of that. But I would recommend a book called Marvel Comics, The Untold Story by Sean Howe, which really kind of gives you, and again, these are people that are retelling stories about their recollections and perspectives, but Sean Howe has done a lot of research into the life of Marvel Comics, and it might give some people a better perspective on what's going on there, why people say Stan is a complicated person. I'm not saying he didn't do great things, but he's not all sunshine and lollipops.
I see this book. I want to read this. I didn't know this was a thing.
It's good, and the audio book version is really good too.
Okay.
Did he and Jack Kirby, or did he and Steve Ditko? I know Jack Kirby passed away years ago, and actually Steve Kirby did year before last. Like
Steve Ditko just passed away a couple of months ago.
It was a couple of months ago. I thought it was fairly recent. Did they ever smooth the waters, or did they did that animosity just go with them to the grave?
I don't know if Steve Ditko and Stan Lee ever smoothed waters. Steve Ditko was a notorious recluse, so we really don't know, although anytime anyone would bring up his time at Marvel, he would quickly end the conversation and leave. Jack Kirby, on the other hand, we don't know. We know that those two would continue to antagonize one another. Stan Lee did show up at Jack's funeral and just kind of was there and left and tried to make it so that no one saw that he was there to pay respect to Jack. But there's no indication that those two ever came to an understanding with each other.
I'm trying to understand this thing. I admire Steve Ditko for tons of reasons, but the idea that he would be talking to somebody and Marvel would come up and he'd get up and leave.
Yeah, some you'd be talking to Steve Ditko and you're like, oh, Steve, oh man, you did such a great job creating Spider-Man, and what are your thoughts on Spider-Man today? He'd be like, well, thank you for the conversation, but I'm not going to talk about that, and leave. That was the end of it.
So why though?
He wanted
it's
nothing to do with Marvel because he got screwed over.
Right, but it's the reason you're having the interview, right? Like
no. Like if people come up to him on the street and meet him and recognize him.
I'm thinking more like structured interview types or something.
No. He never did structured interviews.
Okay, so if you walked up to him on the street and said, "Hey, Steve, I loved your work,"
and he'd probably say thank you.
Oh, he'd say thank you and he'd move on. But if you ever said, "Hey, great job on co-creating Spider-Man with Stan Lee," he'd whip out a knife and shank you right in the kidney.
I mean, I'm not sure that's accurate.
Yeah.
But yes.
All right. They're probably not exactly accurate at this point. That's fascinating to me. I knew you'd have a take that was perhaps a little different than the usual because you're really close to this stuff. And
I mean, there's a lot of really good things. You look at what he did with the Comics Code Authority when he helped make sure that the Comics Code Authority came into existence. But then when he did, Spider-Man 92 through 95 or 95 through 97, that issue that dealt with the drugs, that the government came to him and said, hey, can you do a comic book that features the negative side of drugs? And Stan Lee was like, yes. They wrote the comic, they submitted it to the Comics Code, and they're like, oh, no, you can't show drug use in here. And Stan Lee was like, but this is the government coming to us and saying this is okay, this is what they want. Comics Code Authority said no way, and so Stan Lee in 1970 whatever was basically like, F you, Comics Code Authority, and he released the issues without the seal of approval. And it turns out that people didn't care whether the seal of approval was on the comic or not, which eventually led to the downfall of Comics Code Authority some 40 years later.
Yeah, I could see that. That's another little side thing people don't talk about much. Do you think, so I was just showing the chat room the picture of him on the couch where he's naked holding the
Yeah, he's wearing underwear underneath.
Is he got underwear on there? All right. Good. You don't know how good that makes
small,
me feel.
though.
It's a really tight little
Well, it was the 70s when that picture was taken.
That's
so.
true. It wasn't kind of, it was like
a hammock Stan Lee.
Wasn't it like a riff on the
Burt
Reynolds thing? Must have been, right? Yeah.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah. I watched a documentary last night that included Burt Reynolds, and it was odd. That dude had an odd period in his life, man. Let's talk about that some other time. Anyway, this is all good. Hey, if you want to check out the latest and the greatest, even on slow weeks like this week, there's still plenty to read, watch, listen to over at Major Spoilers. Steven, anything people should be watching for right now?
Well, it is the holiday shopping season, and all this week we will be releasing our own Major Spoilers gift guide. Some ideas that you might want to consider if you've got someone that you're giving gifts to, or maybe if you're just looking for yourself. Today we kicked off with the video game gift guide. Tomorrow is a comic book guide. Then on Wednesday we'll have toys, and then we have a couple of other comic book guides for him, her, and kids throughout this week.
Nice. Well, as always, a pleasure to have you on. It is Steven Schleicher, Major Spoilers on Twitter, and of course, majorspoilers.com. Have a fantastic week and a good holiday.
Guys.
Bye. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Stay hydrated. All right. Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go.
Wash that turkey down with a big old glass of water.
Sounds all right. Oh, I'm getting hungry again. I'm gonna have to go get something good today. I don't want to eat nothing.
I had a very low point breakfast, so I'm doing lunch at this place called KT's Barbecue, and I'm getting the white meat chicken breast, but their barbecue sauce is just so damn good.
Spend some of those points, yo.
Barbecue.
Yeah,
exactly.
Get that out of your system.
Listen, it's a diet, not a prison sentence.
No,
all right?
No, you got to enjoy life a little.
Exactly.
This is how I get off my diet. I talk like this. Anyway, hey, that's going to do it for the show. Before we go, though, we have a mashup from Jamie, a new collection that he put together here recently of recent episodes. And, boy, if I could just be in the right place at the right time. There it is. This is called Jill Bush.
I know exactly where that part comes from.
I do, too, sort of.
Yeah.
But let's learn together what this is. Here you go.
My dojo. Bow. No mercy.
Yeah.
You're looking for a Christmas miracle. I present you the FBI. We do have a few flaws that are unfinished, but welcome. I'll find your wife and...
Met with Zahar Al-Saloom, Oleg Belosnikazgovkov,
Belogazov.
Yeah, Belogazov is the one that's got the heart wound.
Girl has sex with Grey in his dungeon. There's ending to 50 Shades. Tyler Durden turned out to be same guy.
He was same guy whole time.
Same guy whole time.
Somebody invited me to their group. One of the people were naked. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go do my own thing.
I write funny books for a living, you silly person. Oh, I'm going to get a Big Mac at the local McDonald's eatery.
Pass the butter.
That's the butter. Clearly, you've had enough butter. If you're able to enunciate butter with your butthole, you've had enough butter. Penis pals.
Menstruation.
Aww.
I don't give a shit.
Dick poop.
Frontal nudity.
Uppy bum.
Pube.
Take yourself back.
Poo fest.
Goo ball.
You see.
Piece of shit. Dog spurt.
What?
I don't know.
Shut up.
Love dungeon. I'm gonna lick it.
Oh. Deagle deagle.
Vagina.
The loin.
Dump.
Jill. Bush. Jill. Bush.
Yeah, Jill Bush. Jill Bush.
Jill Bush.
Fantastic.
Oh, it's the greatest thing ever.
That's pretty good. Thank you for whoever that was last week that requested we play a.
Yeah, do the Tourette's.
Yeah, it was an email or something.
Or Tourette's.
I forgot. It was pretty good, though. All right, we got more of that coming this week, so stay tuned for more from Jamie. TMS Mashups on Twitter, if you are inclined to follow him and make suggestions there. All right, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you all for being here once again. If you would like to support the show, please do. Frogpants.com has a link to everything, but if you want to go straight there, patreon.com/TMS. That's patreon.com/TMS. Even $1 a month would make a difference. So if you're out there and you're feeling saucy about your favorite morning show, by gum, now's the time to belly up and show it in a way that keeps the lights on. That's patreon.com/TMS. For everything else, frogpants.com/TMS. Brian, you got a cover today to play, or?
I do have a cover. Before we get to that, two things to tell you about. A brand new episode of Soundography just went up on the feeds. This is the last of our series, our current series of You Gotta Listen to This. This one features Hammond Chamberlain, who had the opportunity to make me listen to an entire album, whatever he wanted. Did he pick a Dream Theater album? Oh, who knows? You'll have to just see. It's on Soundography right now. And tomorrow, Tuesday, is the last day to get involved with the Tadpool Tad Santa gift exchange. So make sure you go to bit.ly/Tad Santa and do the whole, I would actually capitalize the T in Tad Santa because I know that one works. So Tad Santa 2018, TADSANTA 2018 is the one to use on Bitly.
Nice. Rhymes with
reminder tomorrow.
Yeah, rhymes with Sad Santa. Okay, think of it that way.
Santa.
Yeah.
Aww. Wow.